think, like a lot of people, you become a Liberal sort of organically. My parents were members of the Liberal Party, and they always got my sister and I to hand out how to vote cards from a very early age. I think we were cheap labour at the polling booth. But it wasn't really until I went to university, and you know, throughout that period of university, I lived through some extraordinary market events, things like the stock market crash, 1987, the property market crash of 1990, but also political events, Tiananmen Square, you know, the Berlin Wall. All of these things happened while I was at university, and they seemed to happen around me. Being a single mother does give you a different perspective. You know, my three kids are 16, 14 and 12 now, and their experience with me being in political life has been mixed. I hate being away from them so often, but that's part of the job. They get different benefits from it. My 16-year-old son is studying politics, and his class are really engaged with the work that we're doing, which is fabulous. My 14-year-old son has told his friends that unless they're nice to him, they won't be asked into the bunker if there's a nuclear war. I love that. And my 12-year-old daughter, she actually came to Parliament House on a school trip, and I got to look up to her when I was sitting in the Senate chamber and to her class and wave to them all, and she was so proud. She just beamed. So that was a really special moment. There is a growing number of single parent families out there, and we do tend to occasionally miss their voices when we talk about things like tax and childcare subsidies and superannuation and all of those topics. You know, the tax and transfer system is built around couples and families. So yes, we can be an overlooked voice, and it's terrific, I suppose, to be able to provide that different perspective. One of the reasons why we didn't have more women in Parliament was because they didn't have those mentoring relationships with senior Liberals, and that's for a number of reasons. You know, one is women aren't as good at forming those mentoring relationships organically as men are. It tends to be older men that look at a younger man and say, oh, he reminds me of me when I was his age and I'll look after him. And there aren't enough women in senior positions to be able to do that, so we don't get that same gender mentoring. The other thing is that male mentors sometimes are quite hesitant to mentor a younger woman because of the perceptions. So there's a natural reluctance there. That's why women tend to work better in formal mentoring programs, somebody that they've been assigned to. And that was something that I worked on an awful lot as when I was part of the organisational wing of the party. It's really important that the Liberal Party increases its representation of women in the Parliament, not just because it's important to be more reflective of the people we wish to represent, but because those diverse voices around the table make for better decisions make for better policy makes for better politics. From my perspective, and because of my experiences, economic management and fiscal responsibility, as well as personal responsibility, I think are probably the most important issues to me. You know, how do we create a framework whereby people feel like they can be a contributor? How do we create a framework where people feel they can thrive and flourish and take those risks, be aspirational? How do we allow people to be their best selves? If success is measured by, is a meaningful and interesting life, what is it that we can do to create an environment where people can have an opportunity for that success, for that interesting and meaningful life?